Your media, where you are.
Hi, I'm Shannon Manning, a 33-year-old mother to a 2-year-old boy. And this is my story. So we all have a life plan. Well, majority of us have a life plan, and I've always been strict on vision boards and setting goals. So by 30, I knew that there were two goals I'd really wanted to meet. And the first one was getting or starting the pregnancy journey at 30, and the second was entering the corporate environment. Little did I know that the day I turned 30, I would be 2.5 months pregnant. But I had literally just started my corporate job in Feb of 2019. So the two goals were met, but now I was facing the situation of having to tell my boss of only 2 months that I would need to be taking maternity leave in October of that very same year. There were, I guess, throughout my life journey, because I knew I wanted to have the children at 30, the main reasons why was the biggest one was the financial reason of I didn't want to be retired at 60 and then having to spend my retirement fees on my child's university fees or their school fees. So I really wanted to make sure that I had a long enough gap with my child so that didn't happen. And I also wanted to be a young and healthy mother, someone that could keep up with the climbing up trees, the falling, the running. Just keeping up with a toddler, I think would be extremely difficult at 50. And I don't think personally I would have had the energy. So that was key for me. So yeah, the life plan was being met. I did leave advertising because I thought the environment of advertising is chaotic. I mean, it's bars every Friday, it's going out. Just the work pace is chaotic. So I always thought that I would need the comfortability and the security of a corporate job when I turned 30 to be ready for the child so that there was some stability and just security. But little did I know that the corporate job I entered would be extremely demanding, so it's actually not even works out to be the same thing at the end. But I guess it's one of those you live and you learn life moments. So yeah, 2 months later, well, not 2 months later, I guess I then told my boss that I need to take maternity leave, and it was weird being in the corporate environment because you don't know how they're gonna react. But there was also this in the back of your head when you just tell HR, I think you also have this anxiety that you're gonna lose your job or they're gonna replace you with somebody for the 6 months or the 4 months of my maternity leave, and you're gonna come back and you're gonna be so irrelevant. You're not gonna be able to function or even remember your job. So there's even before you take your maternity leave, there's an anxiety of a job security and is somebody gonna replace your role in the company. So at the back of your mind, you're always trying to keep up to date during your maternity leave with people in your company, your colleagues, just so that you can feel like you won't be so out of touch when you come back. But I guess that's a full-on topic for like another segment. But yeah, so the goals were met, and I think even though I was pregnant and I was really excited about this new journey and starting a family, um, I don't know why there was almost a little bit of a naivety in not believing that my life would change, but in the back of my head, I knew that it would definitely change. And I guess the changes that I thought would happen were like the small changes, like, yes, you can't be drunk on a weekend anymore. You have to be sober, obviously, because you're carrying a human. You have to be healthy. But I guess the societal like nuances I never thought would affect just being pregnant until randomly I went to my friend's birthday, and one of her friends, a guy, asked me why I wasn't drinking that evening, and I was okay with explaining to him that I was pregnant, and literally 3 months pregnant. I wasn't even showing, so I was comfortable to be in that environment. I mean, it was 2 a.m. in the afternoon, um, and he proceeded to judge me for being pregnant and out, and proceeded to say, like, almost implying that my motherhood journey is flawed and how can I expose my child to this? Isn't the music loud? And I was like, this is so. I felt dirty, and I felt like I needed to get up and leave the event, but I manned through it. But I guess without that interaction, I wouldn't have realized that every aspect of my life would change, not just my physical appearance because I was carrying a child. My mentality would have to change, almost like one level up of maturity would have to come into play. And I guess, even though he was a complete ass, I guess he gave me a life lesson. But yeah, it was eye-opening. So I made sure going forward that I would never be seen in any dark place after 6 o'clock at night. So I ended up doing breakfast runs in the morning, normal malls, ice cream, because that was my biggest craving, was ice cream and cheese. So yeah, there was one point where my car was full of ice cream wrappers because I had to hide it from the father, because he would always laugh at me with these countless amounts of Magnum wrappers. So yeah, ice cream was a real craving. But yeah, so I guess everything changed, and I think it just had to adapt. But in the changing, you also start to realize that you're losing yourself, even though you are growing a human. You start losing yourself. You start feeling alone, even though you have number of this, like, people when you're pregnant are messaging you constantly, asking for updates, and asking like how you're feeling. But there's still an element of being alone, and I think it starts to really set in towards the third trimester of your pregnancy. So yeah, I guess now I was 30 and pregnant and in corporate, and from what was exciting and still was exciting, slowly throughout the 9-month journey, the little anxiety started to creep in. I would wake up in the middle of the night or 3 o'clock, go to the toilet, because mothers are always in the toilet. Go to the toilet, and then the overthinking would just start. You would be like, oh my gosh, I need to get a pram, but I want a wooden pram. I don't want a plastic cot. I don't want a bassinet. I want a wooden pram. Then you'd be like, oh, if I need a pram, I need a car seat. If I need a car seat, I need X, Y, and Z. Then randomly you just also start thinking about the things that people randomly tell you, like the auntie at Checkers who says that you have to get this nappy bin because this nappy bin is the best. And now you're like, do I really need it? So you start really overthinking everything, from when you're going to start buying clothes. Are you going to buy cloth nappies? Are you going to buy normal nappies? And eventually you roll back into bed, and I'd write my lists and alleviate some sort of anxiety, because at least I was making a plan to get those things that I had written down that evening. But I think it never ever stopped. I mean, I find myself still getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning or early hours of the morning, cleaning my house, because I needed to be clean, because I won't have time the next day to entertain a toddler, go to work, etc. So yeah, I guess this brings me to the reason I've named my podcast, or the podcast, 3 a.m. Anxieties, because it's a podcast about a real mother's journey, the joys, the small vents, the fascinating stories, the complete, like, I don't know, mind fuck things that come out of my son's mouth that you just like, am I you? Are you me? Just experiencing it all in its wonders. So also, most of my pregnancy journey is a complete utter blur, because I think you're just in a routine so much that you actually forget to sit back, reflect, and take it in. So I will try my best to inspire with what I do remember, and hopefully you'll listen, you'll engage, and yeah, we'll go on this journey together.